Hello!
And welcome to the Underpaid Gamers Podcast. My name is Tony. I'm with my friend and colleague Justin.
Hello.
We got the squeaky chairs today. Squeaky
Yeah.
squeak make squeakers.
Yep, the other chairs are outside and it's too cold to go get them.
That's right. Nobody cares. Today we're talking about Spider-Man and Rogue One and Final Fantasy again.
Yep.
And some Apple Super Mario business.
Yeah.
Let's get into it. Underpaid Gamers Podcast is the official podcast of underpaidgamers.com. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on SoundCloud and iTunes and Google Play.
Yep.
We're on Twitter at UP Gamers Podcast.
Correct.
You can email us at underpaidgamerspodcast@gmail.com.
Do it right now. And we have a website. Check it out, the blog.
The
Follow us.
thing we're officially of.
Yeah, that thing.
Mention that first.
You did that first.
Anyway,
Yep.
let's talk about some things.
Yeah, what do you want to start with?
My notes have gotten decidedly shorter as this has gone on.
Yeah. That's alright.
Final Fantasy.
You know,
news.
sometimes we do real big research episodes and sometimes we don't need to.
Yeah, we.
And you do. But hey, look, I wrote a lot of things this week compared to last week, which is 100% more. Because I did nothing last week.
Final Fantasy. You've been playing it still?
Yes.
Tell me, what chapter are you on?
I am on
Chapter 13?
I'm on chapter 3. I know where you're going with chapter 13.
Man, scrub.
No, I'm on chapter 3.
Scrub.
Because chapter 3 is when the open world opens for you to do stuff with.
How many hours do you think it took you to get to the open world?
The full open world? Because like the first...
So chapter 3.
It took me... If I would have gone straight through it, it would have taken me like 2.5 hours.
Okay.
Maybe. The way I did it, I was like trying to do all the side quests in the first area I was at first before moving on, because that first area is still part of the open world. So all the quests in there are there if you skip them or not.
Yeah.
So I was trying to do everything. I'm trying to get all the trophies, and I read through them all, and they all seem to be like achievable. With one being a really really hard one that'll take me a long time. The 3-day thing.
Oh yeah.
Which I don't know if it really takes.
Is that getting through the whole game without making a boy band joke? Do you get a trophy for that?
I wish.
Ah.
That's like the hardest thing to do in the game, though.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
There's so many moments I'm like, this is just too much Japanese emo stuff. But either way, I'm really, really enjoying the game. I just did this side quest that opens up chocobos, and
It opens them up?
It opens them up for business. You can start riding them.
Like when Luke gets put into the thing?
Luke
Skywalker?
Mm-hmm.
When Han cuts it open?
Yeah.
Open them up like that?
Yep, just like that. Tauntaun.
Tauntaun? I
Yep.
want to call it a Tantan.
You actually just
my
you
American
cut them
accent.
open, and then you ride inside the chocobo as it runs, and you stay warm.
How hot is a Tantan? Tauntaun?
Tauntaun.
Tantan.
Lukewarm.
That's right.
Hey-o! So, yeah, game is fun. I think I put... Last week, I think I said 9 hours, and I think I'm up to like 13 now. I didn't have a whole lot of time to play this week, but I think I milked out about 5 hours additional this week. So, working through all the side quests. I'm trying to get all the side quest achievements before I move forward.
Now don't forget, as has been reported earlier, maybe like a year earlier, the ending of Final Fantasy gets much more linear than the open world
which
part.
is why I'm doing it in chapter 3, because I know that's as soon as the world gets open. So I was like, I'm just going to do everything that I can now. And it's really, like, it's a beautiful world. It's fun to explore it. And some of the side quests are exciting.
Is there anything other than desert in that world? Because everything I've seen is desert.
Oh, yeah.
When's
the very
lush
first
forests?
place, it's
Where's
like,
hot?
Chapter 3 opens up the whole world, and the rest of the world is, like, beautiful. As opposed to that
more than
first,
desert.
the first 2 chapters are in the desert, right outside of town.
I got Russian there.
Yeah. Is that what they sound like?
In my head,
Okay.
it sounds Russian.
Yeah, it's fun. But Final Fantasy did have an update recently.
What? They had a day 1 update and then something else?
Well, actually...
After 10 years of development?
I know.
And then a delay?
I mean, I can't even defend them because it's dumb. Actually, the update I think you want to talk about, which is the Chapter 13 editions, isn't out yet.
Story edition. The story edition.
Yes. What they've done is they've decided that they're going to add some cutscenes and more like event scenes in Chapter 13 to try and flush it out a little bit more, because apparently
it's confusing as all get out.
Yeah, as I've read, multiple websites have said, wow, this game's really awesome, except for Chapter 13.
Because nobody knows what's going on?
Yeah, because you're really confused. And I went to Metacritic and I was like reading some of the user reviews, and some of the people who had like 0 out of 10, which one of the reasons I don't like Metacritic is because everyone either gives it a 10 or a 0.
Yeah.
Like, there are even people that I read the review and they're like, yeah, graphics are good, combat was fun, but I hated the characters, so 0 out of 10.
Yeah.
Like, that's probably not fair. They just try and, like, move that average number as much as possible.
Yeah.
So anyways, it was like, a lot of these people are complaining. They're like, oh man, this story doesn't make any sense. Why are any of these characters here? And I was like, well, I understand. That could be frustrating. They also put out a movie to watch and a bunch of, like, anime, or 5 episodes of anime to watch on YouTube to explain the story.
Yeah.
And if you think that's ridiculous, Overwatch makes YouTube videos to explain its story, and it's really successful.
Can I contest that? I'm going to contest that whether you want me to or not.
Okay.
I don't want to compare it to Overwatch. One, I mean, I guess it's from an entertainment factor.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think the Overwatch shorts are better than the Final Fantasy clips, although I haven't seen the Final Fantasy clips, so I can't say that.
But I'm assuming the same thing.
But also, the story isn't important in Overwatch, whereas the story is the main factor in Final Fantasy. Like, one of the main factors, whereas Overwatch could and does definitely survive on its legs without that.
Right. I
think is more apt to compare it to would be the cards from Destiny. The Grimoire cards. Where it's like, you want to find out more about the story? Go to our website and figure all this out. You know how much backlash they got for that?
Yeah, but that's a little bit... That's different, though. It's the same sort of thing. However, Grimoire cards, it's the type of media that's just... It's written, and it's like a little picture.
Okay.
As opposed to, like, a video.
A video?
Like, video and writing, like... Flipping through all these pages of cards, like, is not that exciting. However, the movie, from what I've read, for people who like Final Fantasy, isn't bad, and it's actually, like, enjoyable at some points. Which I have it in my backpack. A student let me borrow it, so I'm gonna actually watch it after this is over to see what it's like.
Do you ever have your students call you Sensei?
Yep. I've had one of my nicknames was Sensei T. Also Jedi Master T.
I still don't. I think it's ridiculous that you need to go somewhere else to get the story, especially in a game that's so story driven.
Well,
what if The Last of Us did this?
Well, The Last of Us wouldn't do this. And the thing is, like, the criticism is you don't understand why the main characters are all together.
Yeah.
They start out together, and it's very clear that they're all, like,
buddies,
best friends. They're all in this royal guard together, like, protecting Noctis. Like, that's clear. But the person who was complaining wanted more, like, why are they friends? Why did each character join this group?
That's not necessary.
And I don't think that's necessary, so I understand the criticism. If you want that, you can, like, apparently the little YouTube shorts, like 10-minute episodes, are each individual character, like, each of the main characters, and it gives, like, a little personal story of why they're with the main character. So if you want, like, that, you could go to that. And then Kingsglaive apparently covers, like, the grander story, just what happens before Chapter 1. So I don't think it's necessary. I don't have that complaint myself, which I haven't seen them yet. I'm going to watch them. I think I've seen one of the YouTube shorts.
This is weird. It's not like they rushed this game out in any sense of the word.
They did not rush this game out. They did the opposite.
They could definitely have put... I mean, I don't know how much more space is on this disc.
Right.
But they could have
it's pretty big.
Put it in there.
Yeah.
Right? And then not to mention, I mean, that's just for the videos, Kingsglaive, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But for the Chapter 13 stuff,
yeah,
from what I understood, it was already out, but it's not.
What?
The story elements and stuff like that?
Like the update?
Yeah, I thought it was already out.
I haven't experienced it yet because I haven't got there, and I haven't downloaded an update. I read about that there was going to be one. I don't know if it's actually released yet because they have to do voice acting. They have to, like, get the voice actors back.
Hold on, keep talking.
So Tabata is the person in charge of this, and he put 2 blog posts out, and I believe he said they're coming because they still have to get the voice actors together. And the update's not only that. That's one of the things, like, I understand that I think it's fair to criticize them for this. Like, you should put out a game that has a complete story. But they're also doing other things with it. Like Game Plus mode, so you can go back with the same stats. They're also doing extra optional bosses, and doing some, like, balancing things with some items. So I would rather a company do this where they look at their faults and they change it than do what No Man's Sky did, do what Hello Games did, and get a bunch of criticism and do nothing, and then randomly release an update that doesn't really fix all the problems people have been complaining about this whole time. So.
I see what you're saying. This game came out. Remind me what date? This November 28th. Is that right? So it's been 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's been 2 weeks.
It's been 2 weeks since it came out. For them to be working on this already, and to have some like steps towards it, I think they knew before this game came out that this wasn't good. I think so. I'm gonna use Destiny as an example again because Destiny has great developer communication.
They do
with the gameplay and everything, and with the players and the gamers. They have the weekly update and the weekly blog and whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
And with Destiny, it took them a whole year to kind of turn the game around to where people wanted it, and it definitely didn't happen. So like maybe in Destiny, like the first 2 weeks, they nerfed a gun. Or they made something a little bit harder to get out, but not changing the whole thing. Like chapter 13, how many chapters do you think there are?
I think there are like 20.
20. So 13, 1/20th of the game. Destiny didn't change 1/20th of the game within 2 weeks. So it makes me think that they just knew something was wrong and they've been working on it and now because it's so hard. I think it would be so hard for them to respond to the consumer so fast.
I mean, maybe. I still would like to know exactly what it is that they're doing with it, because from what I read, it seems like they're just adding a few cutscenes. So I don't think it's fair to say they're changing 1/20th of the game, because they're not probably changing the comp. They're not changing.
You want me to read you what Tabata says?
Go ahead.
Our early plans are to enrich certain aspects of the game, adding gameplay enhancements to Chapter 13. Buffing ring magic will have the specifics of what and when for a later date. After that, we're hoping to delve deeper into the story, adding scenes that will give a new highlight to character motivations, such as why Ravis? I
haven't met that character yet.
Walked the path he did. We will need a little time with these, as they'll need to be localized and voiced in other languages, but we'll let you know the details once they're set. For the long term, we are looking to making certain key characters playable and even considering the possibility of customizable avatars in addition to other features over time. So I don't think that last paragraph affects this.
No, I don't think that's specifically for 13.
Can you choose what clothes your character wears? Like, can you customize it?
Well, there are different outfits.
Is it all leather?
Only the main gear has leather, like the default stuff. Like, that's apparently their guard, like, regular outfit, not like the dress guard, or their dress garb.
Garb?
Garb is right. The dress uniform, it's
short
like the regular.
Garbage.
Exactly.
Basura?
Garbage. So, I think, I don't know, I think it's fair to say that they should have had enough time for quality control to know...
10 years.
Yeah, I mean, they've had enough time for quality control.
To know that 13
To know that Chapter 13, maybe people would be confused. But at the same time, I'm glad that they're addressing it and that they're actually going to do something about it, and it's going to be a free update, and they've communicated to us what they're planning on doing with it.
Yeah.
And that's not the only thing they're doing too. I think they're adding some other good features to it. I think the idea of like customizing your avatar, like as Noctis, is a good idea. I think that's fun. Because it really doesn't matter what he looks like.
Give it the Mass Effect.
And it would be nice.
Effect.
Well, I also like, there are no girl playable characters in this entire thing. I was like,
what
about all the girls? Who want to play Final Fantasy? There's probably girls who want to play Final Fantasy.
I think the girls that want to play Final Fantasy want to play it for the boy band aspect.
Potentially. And that is strong. That's some strong boy band stuff going on. Oh man,
dude, this is the 90s, man.
I like the game though. I really think it's good. I don't think it's in that top tier.
The Final Fantasy games?
Well, I think it's better than 13, and I think it's better than 12 maybe. I don't know. I didn't really get into 12. It's the best one we've had.
Dude, I've read a theory the other day that 12 is like Star Wars Episode 4.
Yeah, there are a lot of similarities.
I never thought about that way before.
Yeah.
Also, some website I read ranked all the Final Fantasy games, and they put 10-2 higher than 10.
Yeah, I know.
Did you read that?
I was very upset by that. I was like, how could you be more wrong? I think it was GameSpot. Man. Or it was Games Radar. One of those two.
Well, one of those two also did 20 years of Game of the Year, and all of those are wrong too. We had an episode on that.
We did have an episode on that. Gosh. That was a good one. Yeah, so, I don't know. I think I have like a preliminary number for the Underpaid Gamer dollar amount that I think it's worth.
How much is that?
I think it is worth $45 to $50.
If it's oh, never mind. That's good.
From my experience so far, knowing that I haven't gotten to chapter 13 yet, but I've had a lot of fun with it so far. Literally anytime I have time to play video games, all I want to play is that. Like, I had to pull myself away to play Overwatch with you.
Yeah, what a jerk.
I did it, okay.
You were playing Final Fantasy for like 3 hours and I'm like, hey, it's time to play Overwatch. Fine.
That's pretty much how it went. Sweet. Alright, what else are we going to talk
about? Nintendo announced that GameCube games are finally coming to the Virtual Console.
Yay.
When the Switch is released, which is nice. It would be a good way to get back into some GameCube games, which is probably some of the best Nintendo games they've probably ever made was on the GameCube.
You think so?
Yes.
I mean, Melee is...
But at the same time, the Switch doesn't have a direct input for the GameCube controller. Which doesn't matter for some things, but it matters for other things. They'll need to come up with an adapter, which they probably will, because GameCube controllers
they always do that too.
Prevalent.
I feel like they almost always have backwards.
You think you'd have to with a GameCube on the Virtual Console?
You would think.
And my first thought was like, that's awesome. How are they going to do that with Melee? Because that's the only thing I care about on GameCube.
Well, I don't think you actually necessarily have to have a GameCube controller to do that, because I've played Smash 4 with like the regular Wii,
right?
Like not controller thing, like
the Elite controller, Pro controller,
which is it's different, but like once you get used to it, it's fine. Obviously, it's preferable to have a GameCube controller.
Yeah,
I think it's.
But for the people that really matter in the Melee industry, for me, which would be the professionals, they're gonna want.
Right, they're gonna definitely want something.
Yeah, but there's so many GameCubes out and so many CRTs that they're probably not gonna have to switch to this Switch.
No, I don't think they would.
But what GameCube games do you want to play most on your hypothetical Virtual Console? Wind Waker number 1?
Wind Waker, it would be a good one because I missed that game. I would like to play through Legend of Zelda, Twilight Princess, all the way because I never beat it.
That's on the Wii.
Well, it's also on GameCube.
Is it?
Yep. They released it side by side.
I didn't know that.
Yep. So I'd like to play through that game again and actually beat it. Wind Waker is awesome. I could just play that for a while. There's a Star Wars. Is it Rebel Assault?
Rogue Squadron.
Rogue 2. It's essentially like the GameCube version of Rogue Squadron on N64. So that game was fun. Also, oh man, what was it? Tales of Symphonia? No, that was on PlayStation 2. What game was it? There was some RPG. Tales of Symphonia is what it was.
Yeah.
That was on GameCube for me, and it was JRPG, and I really liked it. I dug it so hard. I put so many hours on that game. I'd love to take another gander at that game. That'd be a good one. But Pikmin too.
Yeah, I never played Pikmin.
I've heard good things.
So have I. It would be nice to have a digital copy of Melee.
Yeah, I would.
There is Fire Emblem, Radiant Dawn. If it's not that one, it's the one before that. I don't remember. Both of them have Dawn in their name. One for the GameCube. Is one of the best Fire Emblem games.
Yeah.
From what I understand. Also the rarest one, so it'd be nice to have that on Virtual Console. I guess Wind Waker. I've never really been into Zelda.
Yeah.
I haven't really played any of the Mario games. So I guess I'll do that. What else would there be? Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah. I think Melee alone makes it worth it.
Yeah, well that's the issue. Like, are they just gonna port it directly as it is, or are they gonna try to like
balance it?
Melee HD, which everybody's talking about. Everyone's been talking about Melee HD for like 8 years now. But some people, like as a joke in the community, they're like, we want Melee remastered. And I'm like, do you really though? Because there's no way they're going to make it exactly the same.
Want to change things?
And if you make it high resolution, the pixels will be different.
Right, so the hitboxes will be different.
Yeah.
And the frames will be different. They'll look different.
Yep.
So you have to relearn all the framing in 60th of a second.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I say no thanks.
I say keep it how it is.
Yeah.
I don't want change.
I went to
just the change.
I went to my parents' house for Thanksgiving, and my nephew was there. And my nephew is 3 or 4, and we were playing Mario Kart with him. And I guess Double Dash would be fun to have. We're playing Mario Kart with him, and then he's like, "I don't want to play this anymore. I want to play Smash." I'm like, "Yes, yes, you do."
He gets it. Nice.
But his father's also the one I play Smash with the most.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm sure.
We're ingraining it in him. It's fun. Fun times. Speaking of Nintendo. Super Mario Run is the app that Nintendo's making for Apple.
And they've been like promoting it like crazy.
Yes. It's a paid app. Yeah. I think it's $15. I think there's a free demo. You get 3 levels. and then after that you have to pay. They also just announced. So I mean, the game in general, I think, is gonna be good. It's good that they're charging for it. Oh, also on this topic, which goes along with the App Store, Steam, 40% of Steam games came out in 2016 on the marketplace. And this is also happening in PSN and also happening in the App Store, where there's so many games on there that are free and don't cost anything, but it's all just littered with trash.
Yeah, and that's what I've been experiencing on my own time when I'm trying to find, for mobile games specifically. I feel like almost every mobile game is trash because it's all just like pay to play.
Yeah.
Or pay to win, I should say, or speed everything up. And I just I would rather pay $10. For instance, I'm playing SimCity on my phone right now because I love SimCity. Yeah. I have since I was a kid. And I've had multiple ones growing up. And I want that on my phone because my phone is powerful enough to run it, like those old SimCity games.
Yeah.
And I'd love to be able to do that. However, the only SimCity they have is a pay to speed everything up game. It gets to a point where, because I ran into somebody who's been playing it for over a year, and he's like, it gets to a point where you have to pay really to get enough resources to continue to develop your city. And I want something like the old games.
Hearthstone is free on your phone.
Hearthstone's a great example of a game that does it well.
But Hearthstone's also free on the PC. I feel like that's a different type of thing.
It's slightly different too. But I would just like...
How about Dragon Quest?
Chrono Dragon, I bought Chrono Trigger on my phone, and that's been fine too. Like they port some of those older games.
Yeah.
Those are fine, but I would like an original game or something new that wasn't pay to win, that was just its own game itself.
Yeah.
Because like so many of the ones that are advertised are all just like, pay us your money.
Yeah.
Just to get 5 gems.
Or pay this money and then you don't have to see ads anymore.
Yeah.
Like if Nintendo's getting into the app market, they need to re-release like the Pokemon games. Like if you get an official copy of like Pokemon Red and Blue.
Yeah.
Or Fire Red.
People would spend $15 on that, $20 on that.
Yeah. I'd pay.
Right? Like I mean that's what Square Enix has done with the old Final Fantasy games.
Yeah, some of those haven't been ported very well, but
if you do it well, you can even if you don't do it well, you make a lot of money off it. So I think there's definitely like a market for that because our phones are powerful now.
But anyway, Super Mario Run is like $15, I think. It's for Apple. Neither one of us have Apple, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
To us specifically.
Yeah.
But it's another one of those games that they're kind of putting their money where their mouth is. However, they also just announced that it has to be always online. You always have to be connected, which is super weird because it's like a leveled runner, so it's not an infinite runner. Right. Where you can go back and forth. But there's like 3 different modes. And there's like a single player mode that doesn't necessarily require online functionality, according to the developer. But there's 2 other modes that do require online functionality. And they said that in order to have it all work correctly, just everything needs to be connected online. So if you don't have Wi-Fi, you're using data to play this game. I don't know how much if you're doing single player, but it just seems weird that a game like this would require you to be online.
Yeah, I think so too.
I know it's not like Temple Run, but what if Temple Run required you to be online? Like that would be ridiculous.
It would be ridiculous. Think all that data you're going to be wasting.
So there's that.
You have to play on the Wi-Fi.
But
yeah,
interesting thing there.
Yeah,
I don't really have much to talk about that. I don't really play Mario games, and I don't have an iPhone.
I don't have an iPhone either. I don't like those guys. No, that's not fair.
You're a phoneist?
I mean, I had a 4S once.
Ugh.
A long time ago. 2 phones ago.
2 phones ago? I need a new phone.
Well, I guess it was 2 phones ago. All right, next up. Fun thing. I think you're probably going to be a little bit more excited for this than I am. Perhaps. I don't know. We haven't talked at length about this.
Tell me what you're talking about.
Spider-Man Homecoming trailer dropped. Talk to me.